Watch out. Yeah. Ooh. All right. That ain't my dog. It's my buddies. I'm in another shop. I didn't move states this time, which is good news. So this whole diesel channel, building a diesel drag truck, a couple of them, has slowly came to an end. That last one I was putting together, I had 95% of the parts. Engine was done, trans was done, wiring, most of the wiring, at least the main wiring harness. Like all the big fundamental parts were done, and I think it was just time I decided I got rid of it. It's something I kind of just lost interest in, honestly, because it literally sat for so fucking long. It literally sat on jack stands for about 8-9 months. Not talking shit about any companies, but I know this was before all the pandemic shit started, so parts were still relatively available. I don't know if you're sitting sideways, but it just literally sat for so long, I just completely lost interest in it. And it costed, I mean, if you know anything about diesel trucks, you know how expensive just regular old maintaining, replacing parts. So you can only imagine what a 1900, 15 to 1900 horsepower diesel truck would cost. And to maintain it and to keep racing it competitively that the truck was going to be built for, I really just, I was trying to build it for a class that I had no intentions of being in, for like the diesel ODSS drag truck series. It was light enough and it was gonna be fast enough. I had all the fundamental parts to run in the pro street class, and honestly, I can't compete with money. I mean, honestly, I'm doing all this race car stuff on my own. It's a hobby, like everyone should be doing, not instead of trying to get free handouts. So it was time I got rid of it. The people who ended up with it, the engine builders, the engine builder I had, and his friends. Well, his friend's the one who got it, and I know they're gonna put it together. He already had big plans for it, so it's on the East Coast now, and I'm trying a different type of racing. Actually, let's back up here. The drag strips around my area, there was two of them, all within 2 hours of me, and one of them, two of them actually, there's three of them. One about 2 hours south, literally right on the Mexico border, and two of them in San Antonio and Houston. Just San Antonio is closing down, the Alamo Speedway. They're closing down. Houston's closing down, and so that leaves with one drag strip 2 hours away. And I'm not. It's literally to Louisiana border. Shit, I don't know. Probably 5 hours, 6 hours. That's just to Louisiana from where I'm at. Texas is a huge ass place. So there was nowhere to compete with it, nowhere to take it to, and I'm not gonna go. I wasn't gonna go on the street and try to lose what little I have and try to get. I mean, I might have won it once or twice, but it wasn't gonna be a dedicated street truck. You know what I mean? So I ended up getting rid of it, pay off a bunch of stuff. Not that that's any of YouTube's worries. And ended up trying this dirt car thing. This dirt car thing is always something I've always wanted to do. Growing up, my grandpa, he ran IMCA mods on the West Coast with his buddies. So just from ever being from little, he's the reason why I'm addicted to anything with an engine, basically. I try to post a few pictures in of his cars and his drivers or his friends' cars. His name is Dan Thomas. The cars was always 68 That's why I put 68 on this car. It was just the funnest thing, literally the funnest thing ever. Just going to the dirt car shop. My grandpa's little kid, going to the races. Man, I love going to the races. Something I've always been around. Something I've never been able to do. Never been in a good spot to do it. I never was in a good spot to do the diesel drag truck either, but I just made it happen. So I moved down here to South Texas for work, and one of the crane operators, we got to talking. He was into race cars, and then we just started talking. And lo and behold, he actually raced dirt cars, like almost for a living, basically. Every weekend he was racing. It didn't matter where it was. He he was racing a lot. So I put one of his old limited modifieds together. As a class down here in South Texas, there's three dirt tracks within an hour and a half from me. So you kind of do the drag strip and the dirt car thing. It just kind of made more sense. So ended up, I didn't talk to Bo. Bo's his name. I didn't talk to him for about 4 months, and then my buddy Felix, the other cars you might see in this garage, limited late models, he ran those, and he told me to come change tires for him a few races, and I said, you know what, it's time to give it a shot. So I messaged Bo on Facebook because I remembered he raced, and I said, hey Bo, I think I want to go dirt car racing. He said, just come to the shop tomorrow. So he lives like an hour and a half hour away from me. So I went to a shop. He had a car pulled up in this garage already. He said, let's put this one together. Say the car, all this. I mean, obviously you're going to buy all your parts, everything, but whatever you need help with, putting it together, trying to put a setup on it, understanding what the setups do. Said we're all here. Him and his dad. His dad's been racing since the 80s. So combined, everyone that's helping me out, I probably have like 50 or 60 years worth of combined, actually probably a lot more than 50 years of combined dirt car racing experience behind my back, which I'm super grateful for. And not that it's YouTube's, I don't know if I mention my face a lot. I haven't made a YouTube video in a while. I'm saying but put it in perspective, price wise, for the class that we put this car together for, I sold a set of deck plate connecting rods for Cummins, and it paid for a car and a body. And I mean, the chassis is not brand new. Obviously, it's a couple years old, but it still will be competitive. There's a few things that we're going to do to it this winter that he's wanted to do, because him and his dad used to build cars. Like, he built and race cars. That's what they did for a living. So it was one of his old cars. Like you said in the video, it says Rush on it. I guess he was a pretty well respected guy in the South Texas area for building race cars, and he's the one that kind of mentored Bo and building chassis. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but it's a Rush chassis. I mean, if you're from South Texas, you might know it. There are not many left, so I kind of feel lucky to even have one. I mean, I guess it's just more of a sentimental thing. I mean, it's my first dirt car too, so I mean, hell, that's cool too. So the class down here in South Texas, there's 3 dirt car tracks, and it's called like an imma, which is supposed to be just a lot cheaper version of your limited or your limited modifieds, your IMCA limited modifieds, because I mean, the engine in that costs less than half of what it costs in a limited. I mean, it's a whole lot slower, but yeah, me never doing this before, I wasn't trying to jump into something of really super fast class and then really get ran over or cause a crash or ruin someone else's car, ruin that car. I mean, that's dirt car racing, I guess. I mean, you're going to get in crashes, but that was my only goal. We did go race it once this last month, the 10th, 11th, 12th. That was my 3rd time in the car. Made a couple practice laps at another track. And honestly, from watching it on YouTube and watching it from the stands, is way more harder than you think, honestly. So when you're saying out there that guy fucking sucks, when you're watching, yeah, he might suck, or he just missed a setup on his car, I've learned, or maybe it's the first time, I don't know. But it is a whole lot fucking harder than what it realizes, or you think watching. That's Groot, by the way. That's Felix's dog. I keep saying I'm gonna put an counter in here if I can figure out how to do that. working with a fuck. How-to video, because honestly there's a lot to this dirt car shit that I don't understand yet, so it's going to be a lot of struggles, hopefully many successes, and hopefully this next year at least win one race. It's my only goal. So come along for the ride, and hopefully I don't suck too bad.